So you got a handout. There's a longer version of it. I'll email it to you. And but basically, it's just more of the same. First word for love that we find in the Greek dictionary is mania. It's the word we get maniac from. It's obsessive. It's dominating. It's overpowering. The one person completely dominates the other. There's no real interaction or exchange. It's a love of possession. You're my wife, I own you, do what I tell you to do. It's kind of like Muslim love.
Awful brave when she's not here, Josh.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, Muslim love, toe the line or you'll be stoned. It hinges on insanity. It would be characteristic by excessive jealousy or dominating jealousy. A person that couldn't trust you to be out of his sight or out of her sight. There's no trust in it at all. Just complete domination. Okay. Eros is a word we get erotic from. It is a love that can be interpreted as lust, but it's not the word lust that you find in the Bible. Eros is not in the Bible, the original one or any version. Ero or lust, the lust you find in the Bible would be associated with rape or incest or being totally out of control. When I look at some of the stuff that's going on, I think we need to bring back exorcism and start dealing with demons, because the things people do today just don't make human sense. I mean, we were not made that way. People have totally become under control of some other power or some other force. Now, Eros is a physical love. It is an attraction to another person. That's not a bad thing. It's not always a bad thing. I mean, it's good for a husband and wife to have a healthy sexual relationship. But they should both benefit from it. It should be God orientated. There should be trust there, and it kind of starts out that way when you're young and looking for a mate, and then it grows into the agape type love or the storge type love that we'll get into in a minute. Eros is more about emotion and feeling than it is about commitment and spiritual. It is associated with desire. It's exciting, it's passionate, and it's good as long as it's spirit controlled and as long as both people are benefiting from it. If it becomes abuse, then you have to go back up to mania, and then it becomes controlling and it's no longer beneficial to either one. Any questions on that one? It's kind of like, I love how you make me feel. I love that excitement. I remember when I was 13, 14, 15, 16, it was baseball, fishing, and hunting. And then I ran into a girl somewhere. Baseball, fishing, and hunting kind of went on hold for the 2 years I was in the Army, and the year and a half I courted my wife. And then I said I do and went back to fishing.
I told Austin a few days ago that I wish he would get a girlfriend so he would care about his personal hygiene. He doesn't care about that.
Okay.
He will.
So in the beginning, it's eros, it's desire, it's an attraction, the physical attraction. and then it grows into the mature, committed, trusting love. Okay? It's not found in the Bible. That one's not in the Bible. I know I was taught 2 or 3 times that eros, phileo, and agape were in the Bible. Eros is not in the Bible. The lust that we see in the Bible, or the eros that we see in the Bible, is a sinister, ominous, brutal thing, like a rape, or like the kidnapping of children, or like child pornography. That's the eros, or the lust that you find in the Bible. It is not that initial desire of man and woman in a physical nature. Okay. Philios. Anybody know what that one is? Top of your head.
Brotherly.
Brotherly love. It's a brotherly love. It's the love that we share here in this room as brothers and sisters in Christ. A commitment to help one another, but it is spirit-led, but it has its limits. Filio seems to fail when I take advantage of you or when you take advantage of me. It is a cooperative thing. It's more like quid pro quo. Is that the term?
Quid pro quo. Quid pro quo. This for that.
Okay, that. You give, I give. I give you a birthday present, you give me a birthday present. It's really fun at Christmas to give somebody a present that they don't know is coming and don't know who gave it to them. It is so much fun to sit back and watch the show because
Watch the paper fly everywhere.
the investigation starts. Did you see anybody around the house? Did you see who left this off? And it is hilarious to watch that. But it's the true filio or it's the true agape because with filio there's an exchange. We draw names. I give you a present. You give me a present, and we both benefit. But filio can easily be lost.
I was telling her about your puzzle pieces from Faith Ann.
About what?
Your puzzle pieces?
Oh, the puzzle pieces. Over the course of last year, I received 30 little packages with about 10 pieces of a puzzle from 3 different puzzles. So not only did I have to, at first I sat down and I tried to put them together, and I thought, there are no straight corners. This can't be all of this.
I saved all the edges for last.
And then, some of them, the colors just didn't go together. The blues were different on this one and that. And I could tell it was a sky because there was a piece of cloud, but this sky was a darker blue. And I thought, what's going on here? So after I got my 20th envelope, it suddenly dawned on me, this is more than one puzzle. So I'm still putting them together. And one of these days I'm going to frame them. But I mean, it was hilarious. Well, finally I figured out. Finally, I was in this accounting office for some reason, and I saw an envelope laying on the desk with my name on it.
Oh, man!
Ah!
I tried so hard to not put him out at the office.
And the one day you put it out.
So then it was kind of a filio thing because I sent them a present.
Yeah.
What was your present?
They got a summons to federal court for nailing 30 items without sufficient postage.
That was the worst part because I was weighing them and stuff at the office and thought I had the right postage. He was having to pay for every one of them.
She was weighing them, but they were too fat to go through the slot, so there was a penalty. So every time I went in to get one, it was $1.12, 76 cents. I'll bring you the copy of the summons if you want to see it.
Yeah, and he had a copy of every single envelope and, yeah.
Then I drove down to New Albany and mailed it from the post office across the street from the inspector's office in New Albany.
Went to all this trouble.
No, he was going to Cabela's.
I did go to Cabela's after.
I rest my case.
You're right about that. And then it was kind of fun watching the reaction to that.
Hillary flipped because I was mailing them all from the office, but she didn't have anything to do with it. And the summons was for Campbell Financial. And she had a fit. She said, I told you not to be doing that. I just had an absolute fit. I said, let me read it.
Hey, you know, her court date was on Sunday.
Yeah.
It wasn't signed by a judge. And when I made up the legal terminology on it. And I put little things in there that would let them know that, well, that really wouldn't be an illegal statement. But, I mean, they panicked. I sent a summons to my daughter-in-law one time for eating my cherry tomatoes. And I put in there, thou shalt not eat an old person's cherry tomatoes. They took it to a lawyer, they hired a lawyer, and then he went to the courthouse to get
Oh my gosh.
I mean, what kind of a legal statement would have cherry tomatoes? I'll bring that one too if you want to see it.
I figured it out because it said something about not harassing your Sunday school teacher.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so Philios is a brotherly thing, and it's a commitment between two people to one another. It says, I love who we are as brothers, or I love you who we are together. I love the relationship that we have. I love the fact that I can trust you and that you can trust me and that you'll always be there if I need help. If I get arrested, you'll visit me. You know, it's that kind of thing. And it is going to be the strongest thing we have in the days to come. Because if we're not going to have filio, and if we're not going to depend upon each other, it's going to come to the point where I'm going to be raising the tomatoes, and we're going to be sharing my tomatoes and Steve's pigs and Wilbur's beef, and we're going to be getting together and butchering and making sausage and canning, and then sharing everything we had and taking it home. Those days are coming. Because in my lifetime, I believe, they're going to be the mark of the beast, and we're not going to be able to buy or sell. We're going to have each other. And that's going to be the filial love. I give to you, you give to me. We take care of each other, and God will take up the gap. Because there's no way that any of us could, you know, I'm not a survivalist. I'm not dumb enough to think I can store enough rice in a hole in the ground to survive 7 years. And I don't have 50,000 rounds of ammunition. I only have 10. So.
So guys start stocking up.
Well, there's a lot of deer out there. I might need. Okay, Philios is found in the Bible, and we'll look at verses later on where Philios is found in the
I know,
Bible.
I'm thinking, what can I contribute?
Come on, contribute your part.
What am I going to
And Philios is the verses kind of tell you it's about two people's commitment to one another. I mean, when you get to agape, usually the word God is found in the verse. Okay. Now, not every single time is that true, but probably 90% of the time it's true. It's good to have a Strong's Concordance with the Greek and Hebrew dictionary in it. And sometimes if you want to know what exactly in that verse love means, you can go to the Strong's Concordance and look up that that number for love, and you can find out if it's phileo, if it's agape, or if it's storge. Okay. Storge. There's only one verse in the Bible that has the word storge in it. It's in Romans 12. Romans 12:10. Romans 12:10, and we'll look it up when we go through the verses. So it's in Romans 12:10, and some verses in some versions of the Bible, it's interpreted as love. Other versions of the Bible, it is affection. It will say affection. It's an affectionate love. It's a love that you show to a little old lady in a nursing home, or a little old man in a nursing home if you come see me in about 10 years.
We'll drag you out to go make sausage.
I will never be a good example for storge probably, but you know, when I had a church and I'd have to visit people in the nursing home, I would walk down the hall with my wife beside me, open the door, push my wife in, go and sit in the corner and watch her do storge. You know? Because she could just light up a room. I didn't know what to say. I just stumble around and bumble around, and she could go in and just turn the lights on. Me, nah. You know, God often has us marry opposites so that we kind of fill the gaps. What I'm bad at, Janice is very good at, and what I'm very good at, Janice needs help with. Okay, and so we just kind of fit together. That's what a good union is. It's how God puts people together. She takes up for all my faults, and I help her with a couple of hers, and it's perfect marriage, really. It is. What?
That's so sweet.
It's just true. We don't need tears. It wasn't a storgy statement.
You think you're better at it than you think you are.
In your own little way, you are.
Okay, well, storge is associated with motherly love, the tenderness of a mother. It was funny when Liza came along, the stepkid. If Janice would touch her, she would scream. If I'd walk in the room and say, Liza, and she'd just calm down and start reaching for me. But at the end of the day, when it was time to put that kid to bed, I might as well have been in another county because nobody worked like Mama. When the day's over and it's time to go to bed, nobody can tuck them in like Mama did. And she didn't want anybody but her mother. There was a couple of times we would be there, and Rion had to be at a training session up at the hospital. It would be an evening thing, and she wouldn't get home until 9 or 10 o'clock. And there was no getting along with that sweet little thing until Mama walked in. And when Mama walked in, I mean, she could smell her. The door would open, Mama would walk in, and she, Mom, of course, you could see her. She could smell her. And I never smelled her soon. But that kid, I was the thing she wanted up to about 7 o'clock in the evening, and after 7 o'clock, where's my mother? And that's storge. That's the motherly love that can only be given by a mother. Okay? So that's a good example of it. I'm kind of glossing over these. You should read these and study these at home. Agape is the big one. There's page after page after page of agape in the Bible. Agape is selfless, non-committal love. Or totally committal love. It expects nothing in return. Okay. You know, if you look at our society, everything we do expects a response, right? If you don't think so, next time somebody says thank you, don't say you're welcome, and see the look you get. Amen? We expect a response. It's politically correct to respond. And there's got to be a please and thank you. There's got to be a, I would never roof a house with my wife. Every time I handed her a shingle, there would be a thank you, and there would be a you're welcome expected. I remember at Grandpa, we'd go out in the field and we'd be throwing, hey, give me this, hey, give me that, and you'd throw it up on the wagon, and you got the hay in. And at the end of the day, Grandpa would say, thanks, fellas, you did a great job today, I appreciate you being here. But he didn't say thank you every time you put a bale of straw on the wagon. It was important to get the hay in, not to say thank you and not to say you're welcome. All right? If my wife and I were to try and make hay, the hay would still be in the field 3 months later because we'd still be picking up the 5th bale and responding. It's not agape. Agape expects nothing in return. Salvation's a perfect example. Jesus Christ died on the cross, went through all of those things that we looked at in Isaiah chapter 53. He took the stripes, he took the beatings, his face was smashed, his hair was ripped out, his beard was ripped out, he was nailed to a cross, he was scourged twice in one day. Blood was completely drained out of his body. He had a crown of thorns. It just went on and went on and went on and went on. And all he wanted you to do is say, amen, thank you, I accept it. You can't pay it back. We tried desperately to try and pay back acts of agape or acts of grace. Grace and agape are very close, knit, hand in hand. Grace is unmerited favor. You didn't earn it, you can't pay for it, you receive it, and you benefit from it. But how can we pay God back? What does he need that I have? A lot of times I think he needs me, but the universe will get along just fine if I bail out. So he'll bring somebody else around to take my place. He loves me, and he wants me to be obedient, and he wants me to do what he wants me to do. But I can't think for 1 second that the universe isn't going to spin just because I decide to be mad today. God will get along without me,
There's people that
and
think
so
that.
will you. What?
There's people that think that.
Yeah, there are. But you cannot pay back agape love. You cannot pay back. Going back to that secret gifts at Christmas,